Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by Home Hardware and Building Center locations. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice. And by the 2013 Honda CR-V, an IIHS top safety pick. Honda is the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Welcome to Rogers Center. New fan favorite, quickly becoming the fan favorite, is Munenori Kawasaki, and he has really gotten the fancy of this crowd here at Rogers Center, and he has played well and had good results so far. Robin Ventura's Chicago White Sox have won 2 of the first 3 ball games in this 4-game set. Last night they were 7-0 winners over the Jays. Take a look at the White Sox lineup. Former Blue Jay Dwayne Weiss, top of the order. Down at the bottom, Diane Viciedo in this series has really worn out the Blue Jays. 6 for 12 with 3 doubles and a couple of RBIs. And right behind him, the shortstop has also hit 500 in this series. Oftentimes you look at the meat of the order and you get distracted on the bottom. And those guys hitting in the 6th and 7th spot have done some damage tonight. R.A. Dickey goes to the mound for the 3rd time here at Rogers Center this season.
And Buck, Tabby, I think it's just a matter of R.A. getting that knuckleball over early in the game, maybe hold the other team to no runs until the Blue Jays score, and it might work to his advantage tonight. This is a pretty free-swinging club for the White Sox, and if he can get ahead in these counts, maybe they'll be chasing that flutter ball.
Defensively behind R.A. Dickey tonight, 7 consecutive games by the Blue Jays with an out and error. Cabrera, Bonifacio will get the start in right field. Davis in right field. With the left-hander on the mound, John Gibbons has filled up his team with right-handed batters. You see Lori Kawasaki, Asturias, Encarnacion, third to first around the infield. Henry Blanco with the knuckleballer on the mound will do the catching tonight. And Emilio Bonifacio has made starts at second base and in right field. And tonight he makes his 3rd start in center field. You see him getting in some extra work before first pitch.
Got to be a little bit of a challenge for Bonifacio playing for the first time as a regular here at Rogers Center, and it can be challenging to get acclimated to your new surroundings. Former Blue Jay Dwayne Wise will lead things off. Here's the first pitch of the ball game. It's in there for a strike, and we are underway. Wise has appeared in this series as a pinch runner. He also had a 1 at bat. He's 0 for 1, and that's what, Jeff, you were talking about there, a free swinging ball club.
Well, it's hard to lay off that pitch because it starts right there at the heart of the, right out in the middle, and it breaks down and in off the strike zone, but hard to lay off of it.
Well, that's what we did not see from R.A. Dickey in his first 2 starts, is that ball staying around the strike zone. It just kept fluttering out, up and away from lefties, up and into right-handers, and now he's locked in on that first batter.
Wise strikes out. That was a nasty knuckleballer that darted down and away.
He said he feels like he's getting close. He's made some adjustments out in the bullpen and on his throwing sessions. Look at the knuckleball. He turns that one over and goes away from the left-hander.
First good start for Dickey with the strikeout. Jack mentioned it. The Blue Jays have been outscored 14-6 in the first inning. So Dickey needs to throw up a 0. Jeff Keppinger takes one inside. Keppinger's 1 for 13 in this series. One and one.
Just a little fastball there. Dickey will throw a fastball. He throws a little slider, and he throws a changeup, but his primary pitch, especially his out pitch, is the knuckleball.
Henry Blanco took that one right on the chest protector. Blanco and Dickey worked together when they were with the Mets back in 2010. And this is the 3rd time that Blanco has been back behind the plate for Dickey in his starts. Here's the 1-2. They miss. Back-to-back strikeouts to start the game.
And Henry Blanco looks good behind the plate. He doesn't move very much. He's going to really let the ball track to him. You can't go out there and try and catch the knuckleball because it's going to move so late. Here it comes in. Watch how he just caresses that ball. Just doesn't go out and try and stab at it. He's got some movement tonight. That is a good sign.
Alex Rios. Good start to his season. Rios is 3 for 10 in the series with the home run. shortstop, Kawasaki. 3 up, 3 down on just 10 pitches. R.A. Dickey looks like he's got his knuckleballer in the groove. Rajay Davis, then Melky Cabrera, and J.P. Arancibia hitting in the 3rd spot. And top of the order is Rajay Davis. He continues to play in right field in the absence of Jose Bautista. And Davis has had a good run against the White Sox. He is 17 for 21 in steals against Chicago, and that could be a big factor in this game tonight. And then Edwin Encarnacion starting to heat up. In this series, he's gone 7 for 11. A .636 batting average, and that's a great sign for the Blue Jays. And the left-hander Chris Sale is on the mound for Chicago.
Well, he's the ace of the White Sox, and right now that's saying a lot because they've got a lot of good young arms on this ball club. But big winner last year for them. It was basically his first year as a starter, and he'll throw that fastball, a good slider, attacks the strike zone, had 192 strikeouts and 192 innings.
Davis fouls it back. It's quickly 0-2. Chris Sale really picked it up in the second half of the season last year and carried it right into this season. 11-3 with a .266 ERA.
Jack was just talking about the slider. He's got an outstanding changeup also. He'll move the fastball both sides of the plate, and he'll use that slider. He didn't have it in his last start against Cleveland, but he's got an outstanding changeup that he'll use to right-handers.
1-2 to the leadoff man, Rajay Davis. There's a base hit through the left side. Looked like the slider, and Davis was able to pull it through the hole.
Sales had a lot of strikeouts. You talked about that. Let's take a look at the defense for the White Sox tonight. Both teams have played well in this series. Neither team has committed an error. Viciedo, Wise, and Rios will form the outfield tonight for the White Sox. Rookie Connor Gillespie will play third base. Alexei Ramirez at shortstop. Keppinger and Dunn will play first and second on the right side of the infield. Tyler Flowers with a big home run last night, back behind the dish tonight to catch Chris Sale. And there's the ex-Blue Jay, Dwayne Wise, playing center field.
Big lead for Davis at first. He broke and stopped. As it turns out, that would have been a great pitch to run on. It was up and away, and it would have been a tough pitch for the catcher to corral and throw.
Here's the bluff once again, going on first movement from Chris Sale, trying to get him to throw over there so Rajay can see his move.
Off speed pitch, and Melky Cabrera is out in front. They mentioned Davis, 17 steals in 35 games. He's been caught just 4 times by the White Sox. Blue Jays have 11 steals. They've only been caught once. Munenori Kawasaki got caught here on Tuesday night. That's the first time they've been thrown out.
And with the absence of Reyes and with the absence right now of Jose Bautista out of this lineup, I look for the Blue Jays to try and run just a little bit more.
Gets his pop back out of play over the screen. The Blue Jays have been taken out of their running game because they've been behind so often.
That's been the big problem right there. They've been falling behind, Jack, by more than 1 or 2 runs. So John Gibbons says, hey, I can't do a whole lot offensively.
Take away one of his weapons, and, something that is so hard on a pitcher when things are kind of just marginal. Teams that can run really upset a pitcher, and really the timing of everything.
And the Blue Jays still have, I think, elite team speed. Even with Reyes on the disabled list, Davis can really run. Bonifacio can run, and Kawasaki can run. Brett Laurie, we haven't talked about him because he hasn't been in the lineup a lot this year, but he can run.
Up and away, it's 2-2. Alcea's attention certainly divided between first base and home plate. Luis Rivera going through the signs. Davis has got the green light. He can run whenever he feels comfortable that he can get a good jump. Outside.
Chris Sale does not have what you call an elite move over to first base. He's got long arms and long legs, and it really takes him to get going, to get towards home plate. Doesn't have that great move that you usually see from lefties.
Full count, nobody out. Davis at first. There he goes. Cut on and missed. Flowers throw to second. Is not in time. Cabrera strikes out. Rajai Davis steals second. Flowers made a good, strong throw, but it was a tad late.
That is what's called outrunning the baseball when you've got that type of speed for Rajai Davis. Quick move, slide step home by Sale, and he gives Flowers a good pitch to throw on, but Rajai Davis just outruns the baseball.
Now you got to keep your eye on Davis at second.
Guys, that's one indication of a left-handed pitcher. Usually lefties like to pick their leg up and pause, and that kind of freezes a runner. They can't just go. When you see a lefty with a slide step, and Rajai just catches him napping right there, steals third. So now you got a runner in scoring position with only 1 out. But further my point, when you see a left-hander with a slide step, it's usually a pretty good indication they don't have a great move to first.
Rajai Davis steals third, uncontested, and Davis, since he came to the big leagues in 2006, he's got the 3rd most steals of third. That's his 66th steal of third.
I like that, even though the second baseman, Jeff Keppinger, was basically holding him on like a first baseman. Rajai was able to get a good jump off of Sale. Sale did not use the slide step that time. Had the higher, slower leg kick.
No, and he didn't even check Rajai at second. He just went to his pause and went home.
JP Arancibia with a chance to put the Blue Jays on top early. JP continues to bat third without Jose Bautista in the lineup. Man at third base, less than 2 outs. You got to cash them in.
Yeah, this is where the Blue Jays have been failing a lot right here. You don't need a base hit right now.
No, fly ball to the outfield. You got a guy that can run at third base.
How about a ground ball to shortstop? Well, that'll get him in.
Free call. Arancibia caught looking. High fastball does the trick. He doesn't like the call. Manny Gonzalez behind the plate tonight. That's a big strikeout for Sale.
The White Sox have been using that high fastball all series long, where they get the 2 strikes on a lot of the Blue Jay batters. That one right at the top of the strike zone. You can see where it comes across. That's just under the letters. JP thought it was high. Manny Gonzalez didn't think so.
Edwin Encarnacion takes the first pitch strike. We mentioned in this series, Edwin has gone 7 for 11. Be a good time to pick up a 2-out RBI. And he does. Right on cue. 8 for 12 for Encarnacion. The Blue Jays on top 1-0.
He must be dialed into you, Buck. That was good timing right there. Chris Sale threw a nice breaking ball on the first pitch, and then for some reason, with first base open, he comes right after Edwin, who's hot, and leaves a fastball out over the plate, and he smacks it into left field.
Yeah, it could be a good indication. The Blue Jays have led in 2 games and won both of them. So now they have the lead again.
Double E is starting to feel it. Davis with 2 steals scores the first run of the game. Brett Laurie. Laurie had an extended session of extra batting practice prior to the Blue Jays' regular BP tonight.
Spent some time with Chad Mottola this afternoon, working on getting that lower half started.
Foul back.
That lower half, it felt like he was a little bit too stiff in the lower half, and that really slowed his hands and his swing through. This was earlier today working with Chad Mottola out on the field. You can see that small underhand. You try and get that bat head moving by using the lower half and staying in close like that.
There goes Encarnacion. He got a terrific jump, and he steals it. Third stolen base of the inning, first of the season for Edwin.
Jack, you talked about the pitchers and what it could do to him when you've got teams that can run like this.
Well, already he's had 2 guys in scoring position. Now, Brett Laurie, if he can get a base hit, he's going to score Edwin. He can run.
Found it interesting that they weren't really holding on Encarnacion at first base.
Laurie strikes out, foul tip. The catcher held on, but the Blue Jay break on top. They score a run on 2 hits. Encarnacion with the RBI. Of Jays Care Foundation. It'll take place in Vancouver, British Columbia, Wednesday, June 26th at beautiful Nat Bailey Stadium. Join Roberto Alomar, Cecil Fielder, Candy Maldonado, Lloyd Mosby, Homer Bush, and Devon White. Take some BP with the Blue Jays legends. Go to BlueJays.com/JaysCare for more information. Great opportunity to support a great cause and enjoy a good round of batting practice with some legends. 1-0 Jays. Manny Gonzalez calls it a strike. It clanked off the glove of Henry Blanco. Paul Konerko is behind. Ari Dickey threw 10 pitches in the first inning and retired the side in order. He has really improved as the season's gone on. In his first start against Cleveland, he threw 21. Then in Boston, 5 straight hits. He threw 28 pitches in the first. Last time out, when he was good in Kansas City, he threw 16. So he's getting better and better.
Well, it's pretty simple for me to watch the camera behind Dickey when we see Blanco there and how he sets up. When he's setting down the middle with his glove, you can count on that being a knuckleball. When he's on either corner, it's either the breaking ball or fastball. And it's pretty simple because most guys never set down the middle with a fastball. But Dickey, Blanco's basically saying, I've got room for error on either side of the plate.
He can hit that corner then with that fastball. But his knuckleball is in the strike zone, and that's a good thing. You know, he made a few adjustments, mechanical adjustments. We talked about that the last time that he threw. It felt like he was spinning out of his delivery and his arm was on the side of the ball instead of the finger staying on top of it, driving it towards home plate. Made that small adjustment, and it's really helped.
And it waits on it and fouls it back.
The other thing that another little tweak that he made is he talked about his head being tilted a little bit in his first couple starts, and he wanted to straighten up his head and have the head drive right towards the catcher's glove. He's been dealing with a little bit of a sore back and upper neck or lower neck, and it's awful tough to pitch in those conditions.
Another foul back.
Konerko doing what he can just to survive. A couple pretty good breaking balls there.
Konerko's got decent numbers against Dickey. He's 4 for 10 with 2 home runs, but that was pre-knuckleball.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
You know, out of all the guys in the lineup for the White Sox tonight, this is the guy that I think you fear because he's got a controlled swing. He's not up there hacking. He's got a great idea of the strike zone, and it's a short swing.
Yeah, he's the guy that you're hoping the knuckleball really breaks. You don't want that one to go straight because he can lose it.
He swings right through it. Blanco stays with it. Goes to first for the out. 3 strikeouts already for R.A. Dickey. Fans, it's time for our BlackBerry Sneak Peek Stat of the Game. Brought to you by the new BlackBerry Z10. Built to keep you moving.
Well, with the knuckleball there, the opponent's average versus the knuckleball. Look what in the first 2 starts, they're hitting 297. He worked very hard on the side to get that knuckleball working the way he needed to. The last start, they hit 227. And I think he's looking a little bit sharper tonight than he did in Kansas City.
Adam Dunn takes a strike.
You know, there's been a lot of discussion about him pitching indoors with the roof closed here. And his first couple starts, the ball was really moving. There was some concern about that. And I think he can show that by just taking a little off, the ball's not breaking as much.
I want it to move as much as possible.
Well, as long as it's in that little box right there.
As long as it's in that box, that'll be fine.
And Henry Blanco's done a good job of catching it. Dunn hits it into shallow right. Going to be a big hop for Laurie, who bare hands it. And Encarnacion does a terrific job. That ball looked like it might have had some extra spin on it. Laurie decided to grab it barehanded. His throw was in the dirt, and Encarnacion scoops it out.
Watch him shift Encarnacion at first base. Ball muscled into right field. They got plenty of time. He sets his feet. Then when the throw goes into the baseline, you've got to shift and step to the baseball. Edwin keeps that foot on the bag and makes a nice play.
Very nice.
Viciedo hitting 500 in this series. He's gone 6 for 12 with a couple of ribbies. Boy, he's got a wicked swing. He reminds me an awful lot of Cespedes with Oakland. The way that bat flies through the zone.
It's quick and it's short. He sets up like Cespedes also. Hands held high, flat bat.
One and two. Fouled off the catcher again.
Took a little something off that one. Right there, that one registering just 66 miles per hour.
Well, he's got 2 different knuckleballs. He's got a hard one and a little softer one. And obviously the hard one, when it's breaking, really darts. A little harder for him to control.
I like that to show that even with 2 strikes. Change up a little bit. I played with Phil Niekro, who had an ephus knuckleball with 2 strikes.
You got a piece of that?
All that was is he would plant his left foot and throw it, and it'd have an absolute hook on it. Up in the air, and he could control it for a strike. About 40 miles an hour.
Cut on and miss. R.A. Dickey is rolling. Dickey has retired all 6 he's faced tonight. 4 strikeouts for Dickey already. The knuckleball is dancing here at Rogers Center. Bottom of the second, 1-0 Jays. Castillo delivers a strike to Meiser Sturis. Sturis batting 6th in the lineup tonight. Castillo is ahead 0-2. He has 3 strikeouts. Dickey has 4. Maybe we're going to see a repeat of what happened in Seattle last night.
If you're a hitter, you better hope you do.
40 strikeouts in the game between the Tigers and the Mariners last night. 40. They played 14 innings. It's a lot of swings and misses.
It's a lot of pitches.
That was Max Scherzer and King Felix, wasn't it, Buck?
Yeah.
You got to figure there's a lot of strikeouts with those
some
two.
punchies there.
They both struck out 12 in 8 innings, and then the bullpen just mowed them down all night long. Sturis singles in the left to start the bottom of the second.
Blue Jays on Sportsnet. Brought to you by the 2013 Honda CR-V, an IIHS top safety pick. Honda is the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Leadoff man's on base for Emilio Bonifacio, the center fielder. Bonifacio, switch hitter, batting right-handed against Sale. Takes the pitch upstairs. Blue Jays already have 3 stolen bases tonight. Rajay Davis stole second and third after his single to left, and then Edwin Encarnacion stole second.
And Sale came into this game in his first 3 starts this season and only given up 1 stolen base in those 3 starts. But the Blue Jays looked like they picked up something on him. And Rajay wasn't around long. He was up to second and then over to third base in a matter of about 4 pitches.
He's got a very deliberate move to first. It's really nothing a good base runner should be wary of. Sturis is a very high percentage base stealer. He had 17 steals a year ago. He's always had a high percentage of success. Slide step, and that's outside. Jack, as you mentioned, anytime a pitcher gets into a slide step, he's going to lose something off his effectiveness.
Well, especially a left-hander, because the good pickoff moves by lefties are the guys that can pause with their leg in the air, and they don't know if they're going home or if they're going to step towards first. When you have a slide step, you're basically telling the hitter, look, I'm trying to be quicker to the plate so that my catcher has a chance.
Tyler Green can vouch for that leg in the air hanging up. He was picked off by Mark Burley on Monday night. Burley held that leg up in the air, and Green just was late getting back. Sale falls behind 3-1.
We mentioned his last start versus the Cleveland Indians. Chris Sale just did not have that slider. It was good. It's been a good one for him. He's used it a lot of times for strikeouts. Robin Ventura was talking also after the game that he felt that he wasn't changing speeds effectively. His slider and his fastball were all about the same speed. And he's going to have to do that here tonight to be successful.
2 on, nobody out. Henry Blanco, the catcher, steps in. He took a long look at Luis Rivera down at third. Blanco is a right-handed bat. Left-hander Kawasaki is on deck. This might not be the time to bunt here.
The White Sox do not think that Blanco is going to go ahead and sacrifice. They're playing the infield back.
Why bunt when the guy's having trouble throwing strikes?
Yeah, why give him an out? And if you don't bunt it properly, it could be 2 outs. You bunt it right back to the pitcher, they might be able to turn a double play.
Double play ball. Ramirez, Keppinger, done. 6-4-3 on the double play. He hit it sharply, but right at the shortstop. I still think that's the right move. You're up 1 run and you got a lefty on deck.
Yeah, 5 feet either way, and this is a base hit by Blanco. That's how hard he hit it. And then you're looking at possibly a run in or bases loaded and nobody out. But he hit it right on the button, right at the shortstop. I'll take my chances with Blanco at the plate, driving in a run.
Munenori Kawasaki takes a ball. Two and out. Kawasaki's been a breath of fresh air. I don't think anybody really realized the impact he brought to this club. There's a strike. He's off to a good start. Already picked up an RBI, has a stolen base.
You know, the one thing that I've been impressed with is his glove. Knew that he was strong defensively, and that's all that the Blue Jays were looking for when they brought him up. Anything offensively is going to be a bonus.
Bouncing ball. This is trouble. Ramirez barehands. What a play. Oh, my. Alexei Ramirez started the double play and saves a run for Chris Sale. A terrific barehanded play behind the mound, and he throws Kawasaki out at first. A do-or-die play to end the inning. That saves a run.
The infield, the Chicago White Sox shorten up when Munenori Kawasaki is at the plate, and it comes to help them out. Look at the left side, especially Ramirez, the shortstop, how short he is, and that helps him to get a jump on this high chopper by Kawasaki. What a play. Bare hand in one motion, throw him out and save a run for Chris Sale. That's a big league play right there by Alexei Ramirez.
And he starts things off for Chicago and chases that first knuckler and misses. Ramirez had a great year defensively last year. He committed just 12 errors. That's the second fewest errors he committed in a single season. He had a career low 11 back in 2008. Drives this to center field. Easy play for Bonifacio. One down, 7 straight retired by Dickey.
Well, he's making it look easy tonight. RA throwing strikes. He's working ahead in the count, and he's getting the knuckleball over early in the count, which really helps him because then he's got 3 times he can miss with it, having the hitters trying to chase out of the zone.
Connor Gillespie, the third baseman. Another strike. Dickey gets ahead once again.
He was saying after his last start that he was getting close to feel on the mound, the release point, his ability to throw a lot of strikes.
Melky Cabrera toward the line, makes the catch, 2 fly ball outs here in the third. That'll bring Tyler Flowers to the plate. Flowers last night was batting 8th, and he had a couple of board in the second.
Changed things up a little bit last night. He was in a 1 for 28 slump, opened his stance up a little bit more, stood a little taller, and it paid off in his first swing after the change. 3-run home run, and that's all the runs they needed last night.
They shut out the Blue Jays 7-0. Flowers takes his strike. Continuing theme from Dickey.
He knows himself better than anybody, and if he says he was getting close, we got to take his word for it. He's looking good.
Everybody that saw him last year in the National League said, we haven't seen Dickey at all yet. He said he'll get into a role here.
You know, guys, for me, I know it's not necessarily for everyone, but for me it's so much fun to watch him.
R.A. Dickey, his 5th strikeout, ends the third. 9 up, 9 down. Gibbons having a chat with Meister Asturias, and obviously we have no idea what the chat is about, but Rajay Davis with 2 steals in the first inning. Edwin Encarnacion continues to wear out the White Sox in this series. He had the RBI. Came with 2 outs in the first. And that's where we are here in the bottom of the third. 1-0 Jays.
Boy, keep the pressure on right here on Chris Sale before he gets comfortable. And the leadoff batter on in the first inning, leadoff batter on in the second inning.
Ajay Davis drives it to center. Dwayne Wise gets back and makes the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out. Chris Sale, 17 wins a year ago for the White Sox, and that was good for a tie for fourth in the American League in wins. He was the #1 pick of Chicago 2010 out of Florida Gulf Coast University. Certainly not a baseball factory by any means, but everybody heard about them this past March as the NCAA tournament. They were the first 15th seed in the NCAA tournament to advance to the Sweet 16.
Never heard of them.
Yeah. They
And
got
then
knocked out by Florida.
beat Georgetown in the opening round. And then was surprised to hear that Chris Sale was from Florida Gulf Coast. It's in Fort Myers, Florida.
That ball traveled all the way across the strike zone and was called a ball.
Well, if you look at Chris Sale's release point, it's pretty much almost sidearm. It's not. It's a little above sidearm. It would be a low 3/4. And that ball right there is sinking. But the main reason they did that is when a guy's 6'6", they usually want him to throw over the top. But he had a tough time commanding his pitches, and then he showed him that he could drop down a little, and that slider is what really opened up their eyes.
It's got to be a nightmare for lefty hitters especially, but because it's such an unusual release point, it's created problems for righties as well.
Well, it's coming from first base.
Melky Cabrera drives it deep toward left center. Long run for Wise. He's calling for it and makes the catch. Boy, he took charge on that play and called off the left fielder. He had a bead on it, and then he made the catch.
Let's take a look at that release point that you are talking about. Sidearm.
Yeah.
Almost sidearm. Good for right-handers. That's why I think his changeup is going to be important. And Dwayne Wise has played in this field before when he was a member of the Blue Jays. He did not want Nayan Viciedo to run into him, so he called him off very early.
J.P. Arancibia was called out on strikes his first time up. Sale starting to settle in. Another breaking ball. Another strikeout. Arancibia strikes out for a second time tonight. Big Chris Sale has found his groove. He set down 5 straight Blue Jays. Presented by the Toronto Star. It'll be given away Sunday, April 21st when the Blue Jays take on the New York Yankees. The game starts at 1:07 p.m. The first 20,000 fans will receive an Edwin Encarnacion bobblehead. Call the Blue Jays at 416-341-1234 for your tickets. You can always log on to BlueJays.com or stop by most Rogers Plus locations. Dwayne Wise goes after the first pitch. Blanco calls for it. Blanco's got it. Laurie came all the way down. Blanco was camped underneath it. And Laurie didn't disrupt Blanco. He stayed with it and caught the ball.
Normally, you would like to have your third baseman or your corner infielders handle this unless the catcher is camped up. Right underneath this one where Blanco was, he was calling it. So you're trying to wave off Brett Laurie at third base.
The problem right there is Blanco's showing I got it with his right arm, and Laurie never looks at Blanco. He's looking at the ball.
1 out. Another first pitch strike. Boy, Dickey's really in a groove. Jeff Kempinger struck out his first time up. Fly ball left field. Cabrera moves to his left, 2 outs. Fans, if you want your baseball questions answered by our team of experts, email asktheexperts@sportsnet.ca. Then keep your eye out for the Home Hardware Ask the Expert segment later on in the ball game. And tonight you heard the experts talk about R.A. Dickey. Jack Morris and Pat Towler said he's going to have a good game. Alex Rios grounded to short his first time up.
Well, he's doing all this, and I can sense that he's got a pretty stiff upper back, maybe a lower neck. He's kind of moving it around after a lot of pitches, but he's still able to command the strike zone.
Whatever he's got, he better keep it.
Yeah. Stay right there.
Ignore that. Just ignore it.
Ball on a strike. Lined into center, and that's going to get down for a base hit. Bonifacio plays it on a hop, and Rios is the first base runner to reach against R.A. Dickey. A 2-out single in the fourth.
Alex Rios has been hot. No stride. Stay right there. Just use your hands. Bonifacio had thoughts of maybe coming in and trying to dive for that ball, but then thought better of it. Knuckleball right on the inner half for Rios. He just uses those long arms to reach out and get it.
Yeah, you realize it's a no-hitter, but at the same time, it's a 1-0 game. With 2 outs, you got to concede the hit. Paul Konerko, he struck out in the second. Rios with the first hit of the ball game has hit well against Dickey. In fact, he had a 2-homer game here when Dickey was pitching for Seattle, but that was before the knuckleball graduated. He moved into the upper class now.
He was on the JV team. Well, that might have been the freshman season.
Yeah.
With the knuckleball.
2008.
I think he's already got his master's. He's going for the doctorate now.
2 balls and a strike, 2 outs. That gets by Blanco, and Rios will move up. That's the one thing that's always a concern, is that one that moves so effectively that the catcher can't block it.
Knuckleball, look at that. No spin. It starts to rotate and dive down as it gets towards home plate. 3 times that happened on opening night, and it cost him 3 runs.
So while pitch charged to Dickey, J.P. Sebia had 3 pass balls in that season opening night. And he had the best knuckleball of all season that night, and it was tough for Aaron Sebia to corral it.
He was throwing it hard, and it was not in the strike zone, making it even tougher on the catcher.
So Konerko walks. Rios singled with 2 outs, moved to second on the wild pitch, and now Konerko walked. So Adam Dunn will step to the plate with 2 aboard. R.A. Dickey making his 4th start of the season. Beat the Royals last time out in Kansas City, going 6 1/3. He appealed down to third, and Jeff Nelson said no swing.
A couple of runners on now for the Blue Jays. So they have to play it a little bit more traditional infield. They can't use that big shift like they had against Dunn last time.
Of course, the Blue Jays don't have that big weapon in right, Jose Bautista, with that cannon for an arm. Rajai Davis is out there, and he threw much better last year from the outfield than he ever has, and you just can't compare him to Jose Bautista. Jose is accurate with a terrific arm. 1-1. Swung right through that knuckler, and Dunn is behind 1-2.
R.A. Dickey has the ability to either go low in the strike zone with that knuckleball or try to get it up around the letters. It gets a lot of strikeouts when it's up around the letters or the shoulders. That might be where he might be aiming right now. That's by design right there.
As you can see there on pitch tracks, every pitch is kind of in the inner half and the last one up. So he doesn't want Dunn to extend those arms too much.
He's strong enough that even if he doesn't hit it well, if it's a low pitch, he can golf it out of here. So it's a good idea just to stay up there.
Another 1-2 pitch. Cut on and miss. Dunn strikes out. The White Sox lead 2. R.A. Dickey has 6 strikeouts. We'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Edwin Encarnacion is on fire. He's driven in the only run of the game. Brett Laurie looking for his first hit. Meister Sturis already has a single. Going on right now. It's the final piece of the Grand Slam of curling. It's on now on Sportsnet 1, so make sure if you want to check out the curling, you flip over to Sportsnet 1, but don't leave all night. Come on now. 1-0 Blue Jays. Edwin Encarnacion with the only RBI of the game. He singled with 2 outs in the first. He is now 8 for 12 against Chicago in this series. And you can see him, he's starting to feel it. Sooner or later, those balls are going to start to fly out of the ballpark.
Yeah, he'll start elevating those balls that he's hitting on a line to left field.
Off the end of the bat, temperature positioned perfectly. 1 out. Brett Laurie will bat here, and with Laurie stepping in, we want to make sure that we congratulate Rush as they are being inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame tonight in Los Angeles in a ceremony at the Nokia Theater. Of course, Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, and Neil Peart are all going in as the first Canadian rock band to be inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Rush. Great job, and of course, Geddy Lee, a terrific baseball fan, but what a great honor to be going into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Laurie swings to the one outside. It's a ball and a strike. Well, Jack, you mentioned a couple of aces hooked up tonight. This is just about what we expected.
Well, the game's moving along, and both guys are sort of settling in. RA has really been good from the get-go, and other than the first hitter and first run scored by Rajay Davis, Chris Sale has kind of settled in. So we got ourselves a pitcher's duel.
Well, just like so many aces, you got to get them early before they get into a nice little comfort zone and get into a groove.
Rory fouls it back. You can see that Sale has been all over the strike zone against Laurie, and why not? He's aggressive, his timing is off, and he's going to chase a lot of pitches. Gets a piece of that and stays alive.
Brett's had a couple of pitches there to hit, and he's missed them. We mentioned that he was out here early today working on staying low, getting the lower half to start his swing. Felt like he was a little bit too stiff swinging the bat.
Up and away, the off-speed pitch. It's a strikeout, number 5 for Chris Sale.
That's the pitch that he will use to right-handers, the changeup. Hits it in that arm, and he's got terrific arm speed. And it makes that changeup just disappear. About 10 miles per hour difference between the changeup and his fastball.
Yep, Sale's starting to feel good about his pitches. Gets ahead of Meiseris Duis. Boy, I tell you what, you can see the tempo of Sale pick up now as he says, okay, now I got it. He's found his release point. Weakly hit on the ground. Ramirez in plenty of time. Chris Sale has retired 8 straight. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Now it's time for Blue. Dickey gave up a single and a 2-out walk, but then struck out Adam Dunn in the 4th to end the inning. You can see Jack picked it up early that R.A. Dickey appears to be dealing with some upper back problems.
Yeah, he's a little stiff there, but you know his focus is stronger than ever, and I think that's about 80% of the battle when you're a pitcher anyways. being able to concentrate and understand what your body has to do to get the ball where you want it to go.
Well, R.A. Dickey has met and battled adversity his whole life, going back to being drafted as a #1 draft pick, and then he found out he didn't have an ulnar collateral ligament, and his big bonus evaporated, and he had all kinds of problems. He doesn't like the baseballs right now, and he's going to talk over with Manny Gonzalez. Said, bring the small bucket out here and give me the one that moves.
I don't think he's happy with the way they're rubbed up there.
I one time did that, and the guy came out, literally took both pockets, says, which one you want? I said, I want the one they can't hit.
Did he give you the right one?
I can't tell you his response on the air.
There's a good knuckleball. But it looked like they were awfully white and bright. Most
shiny.
Yeah, most baseballs that are game ready are dull. They use that Delaware mud to take the sheen off of them, and Dickey didn't appear to be too thrilled by those last batch of baseballs. Dickey knocks it down. Kawasaki gets it, but can't make a play, and Kawasaki hit a 360, but by the time he got the ball over to first, it's an infield hit for Seattle.
Yeah, that would have been something if he would have come up with that one. Line right back to the middle, and I think R.A. gets a piece of it. I don't know if he got it with his glove or his shoe. We can see in slow motion here.
It's his heel.
Yep, right off the heel that ricochets over to Kawasaki. Comes up with it, and Seattle just runs too well.
Alexei Ramirez takes one upstairs for a ball. It's not a bad guy to play hit and run against, because first of all, it's slow to the plate. Second, it's difficult to catch. And then you just don't know if the catcher can get the throw to second. On the ground, Kawasaki, the second for one, back to first, double play.
And that's the reason why you try and play hit and run right there, to stay out of the double play. He's had a few balls on the ground already tonight, and a good turn by the middle of the diamond by the Blue Jays. Watch how quickly Kawasaki gets the ball and gets rid of it, and gives a good feed to Storis.
Yeah, he gets rid of it quickly, allowing Meister to do what he does best.
Second baseman liked that ball about shoulder high.
Storis to Encarnacion, and that leadoff single didn't do a thing. The double play and the ground out. Just 7 pitches for Dickey in the 5th. The All Access Contest. It's part of the Sportsnet charity broadcast auction. Make a $50 donation or more to the Jays Care Foundation before April 24th, and you will automatically be entered. you could win the ultimate Blue Jays experience, an opportunity to throw out the ceremonial first pitch before a Blue Jays game, a batting practice visit, and a meet and greet with John Gibbons. For more information, visit bluejays.com/broadcast-auction. It's always a great time, and it does a great job of raising money for a very worthwhile cause, the Jays Care Foundation. April 24th, make sure you make a donation before April 24th. 7-8-9 for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the fifth. Bonifacio, Blanco, and Kawasaki. Emilio walked his first time up. Boney hasn't had a stolen base attempt yet this season. He was 30 for 33 a year ago. We need to get him on and get him going.
In any way, maybe push a bunt up the right side, maybe get hit.
That's the hard way.
Well, that'll slow the legs down right there on top of the kneecap. That's going to hurt.
It's a mere flesh wound, Jack.
Slider,
superficial.
Holds on to it. A little bit too long, right in the thigh.
Yeah, that got him in the meaty area of his thigh. That breaking ball just stayed right on him, and he is aboard.
I was watching Chris Sale finish up his warm-up pitches that inning, and his last pitch was a slider just like that over in the right-handed batter's box. So a little muscle memory on that last pitch there.
Henry Blanco. Bonifacio was going to second, and Sale throws it away. Here goes Bonifacio. Around second, he's headed for third. And he'll get there standing up. Bonifacio took a step towards second, but dove back into the bag, and Sale's throw to Dunn was wide.
I tell you, not much of a move right here. And the speed of Bonifacio might have upset Chris Sale as he throws it away. That's 3 errors now by the White Sox pitchers this year.
10 on the season, and they've kicked it around, and it has hurt them. Infield is in. Catcher Henry Blanco. Big run out there at third base. Nobody out. You got to cash him in. Blanco has a good idea at the plate. He knows how to handle the bat in these situations.
Yeah, right now, a good hitter, he's going to look for a pitch. He's already made up his mind. Okay, do I want to look for the ball away, or do I want to look for the ball in, especially early in the count? Right now, that last swing looks like he wants to go to right field.
Well, you sense that runs are going to be at a premium here tonight, and any opportunity to get one in, nobody out, runner at third, somehow they've got to manufacture this run.
Off-speed pitch, and he was way out in front.
Sale's got 3 pitches right now that he can use to try and get you out. There's Alex Rios in right field. Probably possesses the best arm in the outfield for the White Sox. He already has 4 outfield assists. So right now you're looking for the baseball.
There's that shot to right. Rios can throw. Bonifacio can run. Here's the throw. It's cut off, and Bonifacio stops at third. He made a break toward home. Dunn tried to cut it off, and it skipped under his glove.
Well, probably the right decision right there by Emilio. He's going to test the arm. The throw actually came up the line, but he doesn't know that, Boney.
Maybe with 1 out, they take a shot there, but with nobody out.
Rio wasn't that deep when he caught the ball.
And his momentum was bringing him towards home plate. Now, anything can happen right here with Kawasaki. You could see a bunt. You could see a squeeze, a safety squeeze.
Kawasaki takes one up and in.
He is one of the few guys that actually works on bunting every single day. He will lay down bunts.
Had a bunt for a base hit in Kansas City. Tough to bunt right here in this situation, unless you're going to pick off a squeeze, but with the lefty batter, you can just throw it in the right-handed batter's box. Kawasaki, big swing, trying to hit it to the outfield. 1-0 ball game. We're at the bottom of the 5th.
It looked like a fastball in.
He put the contact play on with speed at third.
It's a good play if you make contact.
Let me get back to you on that one.
Sure.
Let me think about it.
As soon as you two guys decide what you want to do, let me know.
Do we have to make decisions really quickly like managers?
You know, the game moves so fast when you're down in that dugout. Here, we get to think about it a little bit. You know what I would do because of that type of speed? I would try it. This guy hits a lot of choppers.
2-1. Contact is on and Dunn boots it. It only took him 3 pitches, but Pat made the right decision.
Oh, you mean I was supposed to think of that before it happens? Okay. But yeah, because you want to put the pressure on their defense. You mentioned it, Buck. They have 10 errors this year. And you want to force them to make a play. Dunn, not really known as a first baseman, tries to backhand that ball, and they were coming with the contact play. Bonifacio at third base slides across with the second run. And when it's booted over there at first base, Kawasaki is also safe. And he's got a huge lead.
He has got a step on the artificial surface. There's the slide step strike from Sale. Boy, oh boy, the Blue Jays have certainly taken advantage of some poor defense in this inning. 2 errors have contributed to the run.
Well, that's just manufacturing a run right there with speed.
Kawasaki wasn't sure how far that ball had gotten away from the catcher, and he holds his ground at first.
You know, right now, the way the Blue Jays have been hitting, John Gibbons doesn't care how many errors they make. He doesn't care how they score the runs, just score them.
Jose Bautista moving around a little more effectively. Been talking to Matola. Maybe he has seen something from Sale that might give the Blue Jays an advantage. Last couple of nights, Bautista couldn't even come out on the bench. He came out a couple of times to try to sit and watch, and then that back started biting him. He went back in the locker room, but he looks to be a little bit more comfortable tonight. Look out.
Whoa.
Well, you get hit around a little bit, and you throw it around a little bit, and you're trailing 2-0, and you're not real happy about things. Pushes Davis back.
Just don't be diving across that plate as he throws one up and in to Rajay.
Kawasaki at first. He reached on the air. Another pitch inside, but off the plate.
He's got good speed over there at first base. It's a good pitch right here to run on.
Robin Ventura standing up in the White Sox dugout. 2-2 pitch. Kawasaki dives back into first. Blue Jays have 3 steals tonight, in case you're just joining. Rajay Davis stole second and third in the first, and then Edwin Encarnacion stole second also in the first inning. There goes Kawasaki, and Davis fouls it back to the screen. Kawasaki is 1 for 2 in steals. We mentioned the Blue Jays are now 14 out of 15 in stolen bases.
John Gibbons using that speed tonight to his advantage to score the game's first run.
Yeah, you can see Sale doesn't have much of a deceptive move at all.
No, and that's why he can get that good secondary lead over there, because Sale, when he does go to first, it's pretty deliberate. There's nothing real sneaky about it.
Popped up over behind the White Sox dugout. You mentioned sneaky moves, and we will see one tomorrow night. Andy Pettitte opens up against the Blue Jays in the 3-game series. The Yankees are in town. They'll be opposed by Brandon Morrow. But Pettitte and the Blue Jays' Mark Burley, two of the best left-handers with pickoff moves, and Pettitte will start tomorrow night. 2 balls, 2 strikes. There goes Kawasaki, and there goes another foul ball.
Hitting his sprints in.
You get the feeling that he doesn't mind all the exercises and stretches and stuff he does prior to the game and during the game. I don't think this bothers Munenori at all.
I bet you he didn't think he'd be playing in the big leagues this early this season. Davis fouls it off. Kawasaki was signed late in spring training to a minor league deal, and he wasn't starting in AAA. He was a backup middle infielder. Then Reyes got injured on Friday. Alex Anthopoulos, John Gibbons, and all the staff put their heads together and decided this was the best short-term option, and it might be even better than that.
We spent a day over at the minor league camp to watch R.A. Dickey throw, if you remember that, and saw Kawasaki playing over there.
Davis drills it toward the gap in left center, and that's going to get down and go all the way to the wall. Kawasaki's around third. He's being waved home. No throw from Ramirez. Kawasaki scores from first. It's a 3-0 Blue Jays lead.
Rajai Davis looked very comfortable at the plate, even though Sale moved him back with 2 strikes with that fastball up and in. He looked very comfortable at the plate, fouling off some really tough pitches from Chris Sale until he found one to his liking, and he drilled it. Pitch from Sale right down the middle, and Rajai is all over it. Smokes it into the gap in left center field, and Blue Jays catch a break by that ball staying in the ballpark. Doesn't bounce over the wall for a ground rule double. That allows Kawasaki to circle the bases, and Rajai has his first RBI of the season.
Kawasaki had quite a trip around the bases. He had several breaks for second, and Davis fouled off pitches, and then Rajai finally hits the ball to the gap. You can see Larry Vanover, the umpire at second base, asking Rajai about that glove he wears on his left hand when he slides. He's got that mitten. He injured his fingers 2 years ago sliding head first, and he wears that mitten to protect those fingers.
All you had to do is look at that finger after he injured that. It was ugly. Now he has it there to protect those hands.
Munenori Kawasaki, thank you very much. A little bow and a little loviste. He has fit right into this club. You can see Bautista with a smile on his face. We love this guy.
Well, he keeps doing a lot of things right, and he brings that energy, kind of really filling right in for the shortstop that went down, Mr. Reyes.
Rajai Davis at second, and Keppinger, the second baseman, is standing on the bag at second to guard against a possible steal. He did the same thing back in the first, and Davis stole it anyway. You don't see this very often.
Yeah, you'd see it like when your little kids would be playing, where the second baseman stands there like a first baseman to hold them on. Rajai known to steal third.
Called him out. He's a little hesitant getting back, and Sale made a good throw. It looked like the tag didn't hit him on the hand, but he heads to the dugout.
Well, Jeff Keppinger just basically says, come on, throw it. We got him. I'm not sure, but
looked like his hand got stuck a little bit as he was trying to get back to the bag.
So he's picked off, but he gets congratulations for the RBI double. Melky Cabrera. Melky's in a hole 0-2. And he strikes out. That'll end the inning. Blue Jays score 2, take a 3-0 lead. We're headed to the top of the 6th. Here comes the Home Hardware cleanup crew. Brought to you by Natura Home Hardware. It's the exclusive line of safe, environmentally friendly cleaning products. Source for live baseball. Listen to live audio, follow games pitch by pitch, and enjoy in-game video highlights. The app is available on the iPhone, iPad, iPod Touch, Android, and BlackBerry Z10. Season-long subscription packages are available for $19.99. Visit BlueJays.com for more details. At Bat 13 is the official app of Major League Baseball. Rogers Center right next door to the CN Tower. Not far off Lake Ontario. Blue Jays are up 3-0. R.A. Dickey looking for his second consecutive win. Moves to the top of the sixth. It'll be 9-1-2 for Chicago. The catcher Tyler Flowers will start things off. Off the end of the bat into shallow center. Shortstop Kawasaki calling for it, makes the catch.
The 2013 Honda CR-V, an IIHS top safety pick. Honda is the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Pair of aces hooked up here at Rogers Center, and right now R.A. Dickey has the upper hand.
Nothing you like more as a starting pitcher is when your team scores you a couple runs, you go out there first pitch, the guy swings.
And makes an out.
Yeah, one pitch, one out.
He and Sale are hooked up. Chris Sale gave up a run in the first, and then Ayers let him down in the fifth. One of his own errors contributing to the 2 runs. And Wise strikes out. R.A. Dickey, his 7th strikeout of the night. 2 outs quickly here in the 6th.
Jack, you can appreciate that, can't you?
Well, there's nothing more fun for a pitcher to see a hitter take terrible hacks at the ball. He didn't know whether to swing or not swing. Uh-oh.
We've been talking about Dickey's back all night long, and George Poulos has kept an eye on him. And Dickey just hasn't looked comfortable all night. He's telling the umpire right now, and that's probably going to be it. Looks like they have a look of resolve on their face. Pete Walker has got the phone in his hand, and with an injury, of course, the bullpen will have plenty of time to loosen up. But Pat Henkin on the receiving end of that phone call that George Poulos has been aware of, and Jack, you picked up on when he was warming up. But they were checking out Dickey, and he says, "I'm okay, let me finish," and maybe he feels like he can get through this inning.
It was a long inning for the Blue Jays offensively, and he sat out for a long time. And watch this last pitch. Right there.
Yeah. It bit him right there again in the back. He's got stiffness, and it's a hard thing to do.
But he threw one pitch, and he's going to get out of the inning. Melky Cabrera. Keppinger is retired. 5-pitch inning for R.A. Dickey. Is it going to be his last? It's a handshake from the skipper, and that's never a good sign for a pitcher. Dickey has shut out the White Sox through 6 innings on just 2 hits, but you can see he's talking to the head trainer, George Poulos. And Dickey has been bothered by a back issue. Obviously, we're not sure of the specifics, but you could see his back was bothering the moment he started this game tonight. But it has gotten to the point where he can't continue. J.P. Arancibia, bouncing ball to short. 1 down. Jack Morris picked up on it early, and he's been dealing with a back issue all night long.
Yeah, it's kind of halfway between the upper back and the neck, and it's a kind of knot in there that he can't get loose. Trust me, I've tried to pitch with what I call the Frankenstein neck, where you just can't even rotate your neck, and it's almost impossible. But for him to go through out there in the 6th inning and get such a low pitch count, 1, 2, 3 inning, that was really pretty remarkable.
And it's sad too, because he was dealing so
he was really
well.
in the zone tonight.
He had CG written all over this game.
Dickey had thrown just 64 pitches.
And there, John Gibbons seeing if Colby Rasmus wants to go to pin.
Gillespie, and you can see it kind of showed us saying that he hit his bat. He's telling the umpire, hey, catcher interfered with my swing, because he was running up the first base line, pointing back at the catcher. Now Gibbons is going to come out of the dugout. He's going to say, hey, Manny, I think that my guy thought that the catcher interfered with his swing, and now Encarnacion's going to stop by to tell Gibbons what he felt. He said, I felt something on the bat. The catcher sometimes will reach out and hit that bat as it's going through the hitting zone.
Let's watch it right here. Here's the swing.
Nothing there by any means, but Encarnacion turned around and pointed back to home plate. Not sure what that was all about.
You know, when you see a catcher hit a bat, you don't usually see the ball hit a one-hop pea to the third baseman. Usually if he's slowed down, it's...
He was very curious the way he turned around when he got the first, pointed back to home plate. But there are 2 outs. Brett Laurie, a couple of strikeouts tonight. Tony Randazzo down at first, saying that Laurie checked in time. Popped up. Down the big first baseman will run out of room. 3-0 Blue Jays. There have only been 6 hits in the game. But stolen bases and sloppy defense by the White Sox have contributed to 3 runs for the Jays. There you see the bullpen. Loop and Rogers. Loop the left-hander, Rogers the right-hander. Full count. Bouncing ball to third. Connor Gillespie in time, and the inning is over. Chris Sale retires the Blue Jays in order in the 6th. John Gibbons has to go to the bullpen. It'll be the right-hander Ishmael Rogers to face Rios when we come back. Yes, the TD Comfort Zone, courtesy of TD. And over in the Jays Care Community Clubhouse, you'll find folks from the Scarborough YMCA. So welcome to both of those groups, and you have been entertained by a heck of a ball game. Jays lead at 3-0. We're headed to the 7th, and Ishmael Rogers comes out of the pen for the 7th time this year.
Rogers pitched in the first game in this series. Through an inning, gave up 3 fly ball outs. He had a good fastball working that day and a very sharp breaking ball. So he's had a couple of days off. John Gibbons hoping for the same thing as he goes to the bullpen. Wasn't expecting that.
Ari Dickey left the ball game with an apparent back problem. And Dickey was great. 6 innings, 2 hits, a walk, and 7 strikeouts. Rogers to Rios. And Blanco got crossed up. He said, I've been catching a knuckleball all night long, and you crossed me up on the first pitch, so we're going to talk about it.
First pitch of a pitch he's supposed to be able to catch like chopsticks, right?
Soft hands. He's got that regular size catcher's glove now. The big first baseman type of glove. Not there.
Rios got the first hit of the ball game off R.A. Dickey. It came with 2 outs in the 4th. And he has turned the corner as an offensive player. Hit 300 a year ago and has just really turned into a heck of a hitter.
Well, you always knew it was in there with Rios. Former high draft pick by the Blue Jays. He can run and he can throw. He's a good fielder. When he went over to the White Sox, they had him in center field.
Ground ball. Kawasaki comes after it. Plenty of time. 1 down. Well, we mentioned R.A. Dickey. He's in line for his 2nd consecutive win. And boy, he got off to a great start. He retired the first 11 men he faced tonight, he got into a rhythm early.
Well, he was outstanding. There was no question about that. Throwing strikes all night long. Really no severe threats at all, but you could see early on that he was battling that back stiffness, and he just got to a point where on his second to last pitch, I think it just grabbed him pretty hard.
In that inning where the Blue Jays scored a couple of runs, there were some errors. It was a long inning. He was down underneath. Might have tightened up on him a little bit. We watched him come back out and throw his first pitch, and you can tell that that shoulder or the upper back area was bothering him. Just the way he lobbed that first one in there.
Just off the plate, ball and a strike to Konerko. Rogers pitched on Monday in the first game of this series. He came in and retired all 3 batters he faced. Got the last 2 outs of the 7th and the first batter in the 8th, and that was Konerko.
He was given and recorded his second hold of the season in that game you were just talking about. 3 fly ball outs.
And he's brought in this situation, obviously, to face Rios and Konerko, the 2 right-handers, and we'll see what happens with Adam Dunn on deck.
Loop should be ready, the left-hander. Popped up into shallow right field. Rajay Davis moving toward the line. Konerko is retired, 2 outs. Rogers threw just 7 pitches on Monday night, and John Gibbons is not making a move on the bench, so Rogers is going to face Adam Dunn.
Well, it doesn't really make any sense because Dunn is left-handed. Now, if Konerko got on, we might have seen a pitching change, but since he got him out after Dunn is Viciano Ramirez, a couple of right-handers.
Yep.
So you got to leave him in.
Yeah. Plus, he's working with 3-run leads, so I haven't seen Adam Dunn hit a 3-run home run with nobody on base.
And you've seen a lot of baseball.
And I've given up a lot of home runs.
Rogers misses with the first pitch, and Dunn is having some tough time. He is now 1 for 32 on this road trip. Ball on a strike. We have just received official word from the Blue Jays that R.A. Dickey was removed from the ball game with neck and back tightness, removed as a precaution. So Dickey had a visit to the mound by the manager and the trainer, threw 1 more pitch and got out of the 6th inning. Two and two.
Ismael Rogers had a couple of days off, and he's throwing hard. That last fastball to Adam Dunn, 96 miles an hour. I like him being aggressive like this. We saw this in Monday's game.
Ground ball, and Carnacion right near the bag, steps on first, and the inning is over. Rogers retires the White Sox in order in the 7th. Blue Jays up 3-0. gets the ground ball to short, and then to Dunn. With 2 strikes, he quick pitches Dunn and gets another weak ground ball. And then after the inning was over, Manny Gonzalez walked him back to the dugout. Now, Jack, that is not illegal. I can't imagine what he's telling Rogers.
Well, I hope he's telling him, hey, nice job, because there's nothing he can do. There's no base runners on. He can throw the ball as quickly as he wants.
Then when Rogers comes in, he's talking to Bautista and Rivera. There's really no reason to change that. It's a very effective pitch for him.
We saw Luke Hochevar doing that against the Blue Jays last year, and then in between innings, Gibbons gets an explanation from the home plate umpire.
It looked as though Gonzalez said no problem. And, you know, Rogers was confused, but you're right. Hochevar did it very effectively against the Blue Jays. But whatever answer Gibbons got, he was satisfied and went back to the dugout in between innings. Torres grounds out to the third baseman, and Bonifacio shows bunt and pulls the bat back. Bonifacio's been on base twice tonight. Walked in the second and was hit by a pitch and came around to score in the 5th, and he forced Chris Sale into a 2-base error. When he scored on an error by Adam Dunn initially. Kawasaki was not given an RBI. That was the wrong call. He is awarded an RBI on the Dunn error because Kawasaki forced home Bonifacio, and you can't assume that they were going to throw him out at home. Isn't it amazing how one start and all of a sudden you look good again? And you made your point about an ace's role. Go out and win a game and turn things around. That's what Dickey did tonight.
Well, more, it's not so much about winning when everybody else is winning. It's about stopping that losing streak. That's what an ace can do.
1-2, 1 out. Long drive, but that's going to hook foul. Boy, he put a charge in it.
You got it all.
Straighten it out.
Well, even Emilio, to me, has made some strides here. And granted, we got 2 strikes here, but he's not swinging so erratically out of the zone. He seemed to be a little more disciplined in the strike zone.
He had a good at-bat the other day when he knocked in what ended up being the game-winning run on a sacrifice fly with 2 strikes. He was able to serve the ball out in the deep right field. But he cut his swing down, didn't want to strike out, and ended up getting an RBI on that sac fly.
Pops this one up. Keppinger, the second baseman, is there, makes the catch. 2 outs. Let's check in with Jamie Campbell. He's got an update. And a familiar formula for the Red Sox starting pitching. John Lester's on the mound. He's got 4 innings, 3 hits, and struck out 3. Blanco hits it on the ground. Ramirez has been good all night. He throws them out. Sale sets down the Blue Jays in the 7th. We'll go to the 8th. Jays up by 3. Jays Baseball Partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. Beautiful Rogers Center. Colby Erasmus back in center field defensively. He takes over for Emilio Bonifacio, who moved the top of the 8th inning. Viciedo, Ramirez, and Gillespie, the scheduled batters for the White Sox. Gronk was having more trouble catching Rogers than he did Dickey. Some of the balls have gone off his glove.
Especially that first pitch of each inning.
Well, Henry's done such a great job over his career. Look at that target he presents. It is so rock solid. And Viciedo made it hurt his back. Well, he took a wild swing and then grabbed the back of his left side. And that is not a good sign for any hitter.
Well, he swings so violently. And yeah, it's barking.
Yeah.
Well, we have seen so many hitters go down with those oblique injuries, and the longtime trainer Herm Schneider, one of the best in the business, he's out there to check on Viciedo. Watch the reaction.
Watch the follow through.
I can't imagine him continuing.
There's no way.
Herm Schneider, the trainer, will walk Viciedo back to the dugout and eventually up to the clubhouse. So he is gone, and that's unfortunate for the White Sox because he was really starting to swing the bat well.
Yeah, with authority. He had the double, which was the game winner the other day for him. He had an infield single in tonight's ball game, starting to show some power.
Herm Schneider in his 35th season as the White Sox head athletic trainer. He started out with the Yankees, spent 2 years in New York before he took over, and boy, has he had a great career. This is the previous at bat for Viciedo. That was against R.A. Dickey back in the 5th. He would eventually get a base hit. He was the last base runner to reach for the White Sox. That was the top of the 5th, and now he's left the game. Jordan Danks now with a 1-2 count. Danks got a base hit in last night's game. He came in defensively and got a hit in the 9th inning. Ishmael Rogers set down the White Sox in order in the 7th, his first inning of relay.
You know what he's doing in his last couple of outings here for the Blue Jays? He has really used his fastball. He has just pounded that strike zone. He shows an occasional breaking ball, like right there, but he gets ahead with the heater.
He gets the strikeout of Danks, the pinch hitter. That's the first out of the 8th.
There's nothing like a reliever coming in and throwing 95 or 96 miles an hour.
And throwing strikes and challenging hitters.
And challenging hitters in the later parts. A little bit of a quick pitch, but that time he throws the breaking ball. Picks up the slider.
Well, the difference tonight for the pitchers of the Blue Jays, Dickey and now Rogers, is Dickey threw so many strikes, the White Sox started to swing.
Exactly.
And now the borderline pitches are things they have chased. That pitch was off the plate, but Ramirez goes after it. Off the end of the bat, foul. I tell you, there's nothing like first pitch strikes.
And all you really have to do is look at the scoreboard in the innings. You realize that when you're trailing, guys are going to have to protect that plate a little bit and, try to catch up. And they'll expand the zone when they're behind.
They're also trying to grind out at bats or grind out at bats to try and get walks and stuff like that. But if you're filling up that strike zone with pitches.
All right, Dickey threw 13 of 20 first pitch strikes tonight, and that was the reason he had such a good outing.
It puts the hitter on the defensive.
Right from the get-go. Right there, Ismail Rogers trying to do what the White Sox pitchers had done with the Blue Jays, throw up in the zone.
Rogers was acquired from Cleveland. He started the season a year ago in Colorado. That's a foul ball just outside the bag. Ramirez thought it was fair. He went all the way down the first. Now he's looking in the dugout and say, hey, somebody's got to help me argue that point.
Well, let's see if it's tough to argue. A breaking ball, he hooks it.
Looks pretty fair to me.
That looks fair to me.
Wait a minute. Wait, to me, it looks foul because that's what the umpire said.
You're a pitcher. Jeff Nelson, he's the only guy that counts. Doesn't matter what Pat thinks or I think. Jeff Nelson thought it was foul. 1-2, 1 out. There's a little looper that'll get down for a base hit.
The 2013 Honda CR-V, an IIHS top safety pick. Honda is the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Ismail Rogers gives up a one-out base hit here in the 8th, and he'll turn things over to the left-hander, Aaron Loup. Gibbons takes the ball and hands off to Loup. Are set to compete in the final curling event of the season, the Grand Slam of Curling's Players Championship. Live from Mattamy Athletic Center, formerly known as Maple Leaf Gardens. Tomorrow it all begins at noon Eastern Time, 9 a.m. Pacific. The Players Championship. It's a great venue. If you happen to be in Toronto, make sure you get down there to Mattamy Athletic Center and take in the action. Aaron Loup, the left-hander, is on in relief. Rogers did a great job. Now it's over to Loup.
Loup also pitched in the opening game in his series and picked up his second hold of the season. Into the ball game now, and he will face a pinch hitter as Robin Ventura goes to his bench once again.
Tyler Green, right-handed bat, is pinch hitting for Connor Gillespie. And it doesn't phase Loup one bit. Lefty, righty, bring him on. He is tough on both.
Well, he'll use the fastball. That's the thing that's impressive with Aaron Loup. He'll use the fastball. He'll challenge hitters. And one thing he can do, especially the right-handed batter, he can get that fastball inside to him. Almost a crossfire action that he will fire that ball across his body and into the inner half against righties.
Fly ball carrying deep into right center. Rajay Davis gets back just in front of the warning track to haul it in. Ramirez retreats to first. Boy, that ball carried a lot better than I thought coming off the bat. So the catcher, Tyler Flowers, he's gone 0 for 2 tonight with a strikeout. First pitch strike. The theme continues.
Yeah, it's a good idea, too, to throw that backdoor breaking ball right there. Flowers, he's an aggressive swinger. Likes to swing at that first pitch fastball. He's got 15 career home runs, and 4 of them have come against the Blue Jays.
Luke pounds that strike zone. Right-handed hitters with that fly out by Tyler Green are now 4 for 20 against Luke. Just missed.
You know, even though there's not a lot of similarities in body type and the fact that Aaron Loup throws a little bit across his body, he reminds me a little bit about Jose Quintana, who pitched the other night. And the fact that they both will pound the right-handers in. Quintana does it with a cutter.
Fly ball deep to right. Davis on the run, at the track, at the wall. It's over his head, off the wall. Ramirez is around third. He's going to score, and Flowers just missed a home run and hit off the top of the fence in deep right field. And the White Sox are on the board.
When it left the bat, to me, I thought it was a fly ball to deep right field, that it was going to maybe get to the warning track, but with Rajai Davis' speed, he was going to be able to run that ball down. But just like the previous flyout, the ball just kept going and going. Inside out swing by Flowers. And watch this ball take off. Rajai thinks he has it right here, and now realizes it's going to go a little bit further. It ends up off the wall.
Yeah, the fly ball off the bat of Tyler Green carried a lot further than you expected, and so does this one. I think that's why Davis didn't get back to the wall. He kind of drifted to the wall, and when he did that, he couldn't make the catch. 2 outs, Flowers at second, and there's a bender that's in there. Ball and a strike to the leadoff man, Dwayne Wise.
Well, Buck, you made a very valid point there. If he goes back hard to the wall and feels for the wall, he just reaches up and jumps and catches that ball. But he drifted to it, and the timing was such that the wall just kind of got in his way.
Looks pretty good on pitch tracks. Loop didn't get the call. 2-1. That's the most pivotal pitch in an at-bat, the 1-1 pitch. Because now it's a hitter count. Mike Scioscia always says that's the most important thing a catcher can do is catch the 1-1 pitch and make it a strike.
So if it's a borderline pitch, the way you catch it, you've got to keep it on the plate so the umpire calls it a strike. If you start flipping and flopping back there and the ball pulled off the plate, umpire's going to call that a ball. And now you really put your pitcher behind the 8 ball.
2-2. Sox have scored here in the 8th. You can't catch it any better than that. As you can see, it was just off the plate outside. Full count.
And that fastball surprised Wade Wise. It locked him up. It was just a couple of inches over. He would have had the strikeout.
Breaks his back. Got in his kitchen. And right now, Loop's got him set up for that 3-2 breaking ball, but you just wonder if you throw it in this situation.
Yeah, you know, a lot of the great pitchers throw that 3-2 pitch just off the corner. Hitter doesn't bite on it. And the good ones come right back with the exact same spot. So many times the umpire will ring them up.
Get a second look at it. Full count, little tapper, Loop off the mound quickly. Wise can run, but not that fast. Good play by Luke. The Sox are on the board. It's a 3-1 Jays lead. We'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Now it's time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zoll. Great pitchers duel here tonight. Chris Sale, the ace of the White Sox, goes 7 innings. He gives up just 4 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, and struck out 6. He leaves the ball game trailing 3-1, and he's in line for the loss. New pitcher for Chicago will be Nate Jones, a hard-throwing right-hander. He's got 5 games under his belt already.
Chris Sale was getting stronger as that game was finishing up. Nate Jones has another big arm out of that bullpen. 6'5", has got a nice downhill frame with that fastball. Hammered curveball and an impressive changeup. He'll throw that cutter / slider to the lefties. Big reason for his success in 2012. Off to a little bit of a slow start this season.
Tyler Green came in the ballgame as a pinch hitter. He takes over at second base. With that, Keppinger moves from second to third. There's a first pitch strike to Kawasaki. Dwayne Wise started in center. He moves to left, and the pinch hitter Jordan Danks takes over in center. Kawasaki behind 0-2. Munenori Kawasaki reached on an error in the 5th, but he picked up an RBI. He also came around to score. Checked his swing on that slider. Kawasaki scored from first base on the RBI double by Rajay Davis in the 5th. One ball, 2 strikes. Look out. That ball was ripped into the seats. Hope everybody is safe. This good bullpen the White Sox have. Anchored by Addison Reed, the closer, but they've got some power arms in their pen, and they've got a couple of real good-looking young lefties.
You know, this is the first time that we have seen Nate Jones in this series, and he throws as hard as all of 98 on that one.
We've seen every one of their guys except for Matt Thornton, and we know what he can do. They don't have a little soft tosser kind of trickster out there. Every one of them's got power arms.
Yeah. Matt Lindstrom pitched well in this series. Jesse Crane, Addison Reed. They're going to be in a lot of ball games because of their bullpen.
They'll play a lot of close games. They played a lot of close games last year. A lot of one-run games.
They're already 4-4 in one-run games this season. They've played 8 one-run games out of 15. Kawasaki serves it into left. Wise makes the catch. 1 out. Now it's time for the drive of the game, brought to you by the 2013 Honda CR-V, an IIHS top safety pick. Honda is the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Rajay Davis had a multi-hit game in last night's game, and this is going to be his 2nd hit tonight. He puts this ball up the gap in the left center field. This is back in the 5th inning. It was driving Kawasaki all the way from first base. Rajay Davis heating up just a little bit against the White Sox. That's 4 hits this series.
Well, it just goes to show you how quickly you can turn your batting average around. Rajay Davis with 2 hits has raised his average 40 points.
Not many at-bats early in the season. They'll climb.
Boy, that's a good fastball. A short arm stroke, and that ball really gets on you quickly.
Yeah, he gets his arm up in that cock position quickly. He doesn't really drop down by his knee. He just pulls it from his waist right up to his cock position, but he really explodes from that point. 98-mile-an-hour fastball.
Tyler Green behind second, just in time to get Davis. Casey Jansen is loosening up. Casey is 4 for 4 in saves this season. He picked up his 4th save on Sunday in Kansas City. Actually, check that. It was Monday here in the first of this series. 2 outs. Melky Cabrera's got 0 for 3 tonight. Blue Jays have only 4 hits.
99 with that one. We haven't seen his breaking ball yet tonight. He's got a good one. Little hammer for a strikeout.
Strike 3 called. 3-pitch strikeout for Nate Jones, who sets down the Blue Jays in order in the bottom of the 8th. Casey Jansen will come out of the bullpen and try to close it up. Jansen has 4 saves in 4 opportunities, trying to make a winner out of R.A. Dickey. Lead, and we've been enjoying Jack Morris and his presence for the entire series. He's going to go back to radio tomorrow, so we're going to wash our hands of him, but it's been great to have you, Jack.
Had fun.
We'll look forward to the next time. It'll happen when? Early May?
Early May, yeah. We'll be back. Get a few more wins.
See how much easier TV is than radio?
I better not say anything, Jerry. Jerry will get this.
See how much fun you have up here.
I've enjoyed it.
We've enjoyed having you, Jack. Casey Jansen looking for his 5th save of the season. Misses with the first pitch to Jeff Keppinger.
Casey has been outstanding. You mentioned the 4 for 4 and the save opportunities. He has done it with a good fastball, good placement. Now, he's not throwing as hard as he did last year. Still trying to build up some arm strength from some off-season surgery, but he has been painting when he is out there.
There he finds the strike zone. We mentioned Jansen looking for his 5th save. Jim Johnson of the Orioles leads the American League with 6. Addison Reed of the White Sox has 5. Tom Wilhelmsen of the Mariners has 5, as does Joe Nathan. Jansen is currently tied with Mariano Rivera, who will be here tomorrow night with the New York Yankees. 26 for his last 29. Lined right to the first baseman, 1 down. Now it's time for a preview of what's coming up on Connected. Here's Ken Reed and Ivanka Osman. One out. Alex Rios is 1 for 3 so far. Rios drives it to center. Rasmus glides over and makes the catch. Colby came in defensively and records the 2nd out of the inning.
Casey doesn't make too many mistakes when he is out on that mound. He's got a plan and he's got a purpose, and he has been able to execute that every time this year.
Outstanding control. That's what makes him so effective. keeps the ball down, throws it on the inside or outside corners most of the time.
Paul Konerko, DH again tonight. This should do it. Asturias, an easy grounder. How about Casey Jansen? It took him 8 pitches to pick up his 5th save. That's closing it out. Kawasaki picks up an RBI. Another good effort for him. Emilio Bonifacio did a good job tonight, disrupting the timing of the pitcher and forced to the air. Overall, a great effort defensively on the bases and especially from the mound.
Yeah, that's exactly what John Gibbons was looking for. His ace, his #1 guy to stop that losing streak. He knew he was going to be in tough against Chris Sale, the #1 pitcher for the Chicago White Sox. R.A. Dickey, spectacular tonight, really set the tone early on.
Well, the key to the formula tonight was throwing strikes. All the Blue Jay pitchers came in and pounded the strike zone. R.A. Dickey led the way, and his knuckleball was dancing in the zone. He had 7 strikeouts, in 6 innings, and that set the tone. But the bullpen came in and really followed suit and did their job too.
Blue Jays get just 4 hits, but win 3-1. 2 hours and 10 minutes. That's all it took to split this series with the White Sox. Stay tuned for Connected. We'll see you tomorrow night.